Bigspin podcast. This is the influencer episode. I'm here with three of the most raddest people in fingerboard content creating today. I'm here with none other than Jake PFB.
Sorry, I thought you were going to have me say it.
That's all right. I love it. Jake PFB.
Jake PFB.
Manny. Ooh.
Amethyst. Hello.
There we go. So these individuals are here with me to discuss everything when it comes to fingerboard content, creating social media, when it comes to fingerboarding. And I feel like this is a good group because I feel like although we all kind of do the same thing, we all have very different stories and like different timelines.
Right.
We good
Absolutely.
with that? Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Quick intro. My name is Chris. I've been fingerboarding for about 4 years, been creating content for probably 6 years, even before fingerboarding. And Jake, what's up? Intro.
My name is Jake. I just turned 22. Yay! No, okay, sorry. My name's
Happy
Jake.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I have been fingerboarding for a few, since 2017, I think. But been creating content since 2023. So it's been about a year.
Love it.
That's my story, Manny.
My name is Manny. I've been fingerboarding for about 4 months now and creating content since I was like maybe 10 years old. I'm 28 now.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's rad.
Yep.
Sweet. I'm Amethyst. Hello, everybody. And yeah, I've been fingerboarding, I don't know, since like early high school. I've been making fingerboard content for about 2 years now. And I've been working at the Slush Cult Mini Mart doing order fulfillment and working at the Mini Mart for about 2 years as well.
I love it.
Yeah.
We're going to slush goal.
Yeah,
love
working
it.
at Slush Cult.
Shout out Clay.
Shout out, Clay.
Shout out Clay. First question. This is just going to be open for everyone. I wanted to talk about your creator journey, if you will. How did you find yourself making content? And have you always been interested in making content? Let's start with Manny.
Yeah. So I've been creating content since I was like 10 years old. Like I said, my mom had a camera and, I would just go crazy with that thing. I'd make little short films. Some of them made it to YouTube in the early days. Yeah. And I mean, I'd love to find them, but they're probably somewhere floating around there. But yeah, I've always been into making content. I'm pretty content brained. Like a lot of times I feel like I need to have a camera rolling when I'm doing something exciting.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's like a psychological thing, but I feel like I need to capture the really cool, interesting things. So I've had tons of YouTube channels. Some of them had failed, and I've had to quit some for example, I was really early on the Funko Pop game.
Really?
I would do like Funko Pop collecting videos, and it was my little brother was with me, and we had a little thing going on, and we got a good amount of followers. And then I work at a school, and the kids started watching the videos, and it got really weird, and I deleted that, like wiped it.
Okay.
So I've always just tried to make content, and then with fingerboarding, I thought fingerboarding was cool, and I wanted to kind of document my journey with it, and then I started popping off, I guess. People started liking the content, and I didn't expect that at all.
Right.
But it's weird. I kind of ask myself, like, I have moments where I'm doing cool fingerboarding things, hanging out with the cool people, and I'm like, how did I get here? Like, I just bought a fingerboard, and I just wanted to talk about it and show it, and then now I'm here hanging out with the big guys, big content guys.
There
So
you
it's
go.
cool. Yeah, that's me.
I like you
love
went, whoa.
He's talking about you.
I know,
He's talking
yeah.
about you. Your first video was, I think you were setting up a board that you bought from Slush Cult, right?
Yeah, it was
And Amethyst sold it to you, right?
She did. It
was like 4 months ago.
It was
Yeah.
4 months ago. It's weird.
That's why I remember that too. I remember that day.
Yeah, I just walked in and I was like, "Hey, I love your videos."
That's so sick.
Yeah, and I was like, hey, thank
Yeah,
you.
so it was weird. I've always had tech decks and stuff, but I've always known about the higher quality like wooden fingerboards. My younger brother Anthony, he's been into it like since he was in middle school, and I'd always hear him talk about Black River.
Yeah.
Someday I'm gonna have a Black River like obstacle. I kind of always knew about it, never really looked into it, and recently he got back into it.
Dude.
And it was him who kind of like I wanted to have something that I can do with him as like a hobby, so we can get bond together as brothers.
Heck yeah.
So I got myself a vault shop board, it was like a little China, the vault in Inglewood.
Shout out the Vault.
Yeah, shout out Vault. They're awesome. But I got that, and then I enjoyed it. I was like, this is fun. I might get something better. Then Collier dropped the Jake Pro model.
I remember that video.
Yeah, so I
Feels like
ordered
yesterday.
that.
It does. It
Yeah.
really does.
Yeah, so I ordered that. It took a while to get to me, and I was just so eager to get a to get a better fingerboard. So I went to Slush Cult and I picked out an awful deck, and I
Shout out Dylan.
shout out Dylan somewhere here.
Someone back here.
Yeah. So Amethyst helped me with that, and then I just posted the video. Like, this is me setting it up, and that one actually kind of got some views like
Popped off.
right away, and it was really weird. And I just kept doing it. Like, it's fun. I like to do it.
Beautiful. Beautiful segue into Amethyst. Let's talk about your journey in becoming a fingerboard content creator. And have you always been interested in content?
Yeah, I feel very similar to Manny. I don't know if I've ever necessarily been interested in content, but I feel like videography maybe. Like I've always just liked, like Manny said, always like filming myself, doing little skateboard tricks, or, just whatever, making little movies for myself and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. When I kind of started making fingerboard content, it was honestly like, I think right around when COVID started, and it was just kind of like I needed something to do. And, I've always been obsessed with fingerboarding for a very long time. And so I just, kind of like Manny said, I wasn't expecting anything from it. I wasn't like expecting to get a bunch of followers or a bunch of views. I was just kind of doing it for fun to kind of document getting back into fingerboarding. And we've kind of just ended up here now. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's awesome. There you go. But I can totally relate, because even myself during COVID, I had fingerboarded a little bit prior, but more so just like collecting tech decks and stuff. But it wasn't until like the pandemic that came across with my buddy Andy, and then ultimately my wife buying me a fingerboard on eBay, that I started fingerboarding. And one night she had walked by and I was fingerboarding in the room, and she was like, you should post a video on social media. And I was like, no one wants to watch this. And she kind of brought it up a couple days, and I was like, okay, I'll make a video. And prior to that, I was already doing content like on apps like Vine. Anyone remember Vine?
Yeah. Oh,
I don't want to age myself too bad, but I was already making little shorts on Vine and stuff. So I've always been pretty into it. So it was kind of nice when you post that first video and it pops off. You're like, wow,
Yeah.
people do want to watch me fingerboard.
Yeah.
You do care.
It's weird.
I love it. And it's awesome that we had the connection, me and you, through content, because the first time I ever heard of Jake was via Amethyst.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, the first time.
Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
She told me about you.
connected.
Yeah, totally.
And now look at it.
Now look at
Boom.
it.
Because I think I remember both conversations with each of you separately, and
Yeah.
I was telling Jake like, "Hey, you need to meet my friend Chris."
At the
and I
Dollar
told
Tree.
Chris, and I was like, "Hey, you need to meet my friend Jake." So
Wait,
you guys
to
met.
make it
You
even
guys
better,
met.
where did you have the conversation with Jake?
At Dollar,
Dollar Tree. Yeah, at Dollar Tree.
It was meant to be.
I was a
Yo.
cashier at Dollar Tree, and
Yeah.
Shout out to
Jake
Dollar
popped
Tree.
in. He was sweaty from his workout, and I was like, "Hey, remember those boards with the? Hey, you should do that."
Yeah.
again." And he was like, "Hey."
I was, so that would, I don't know if you
No,
want to
go ahead. Let's talk about your journey and how long you've been interested in content.
Just a quick backstory. I've always gotten super into a hobby and then just dropped it out of nowhere.
Same.
So
Same.
yeah.
How many times have you dropped fingerboarding though? Because that's
my
we talked
gosh.
about it in your pod, but a lot of people thought you were just coming into the hobby.
No.
And were wondering how you were so good. It kind of felt like you were like an
I
industry
appreciate
plant.
that. No, I honestly can't remember how many times I've dropped it, but it's definitely more than 3 or 4 times. So that when I was talking to Amethyst at the Dollar Tree, that was, I want to say that was the last time I dropped it, and that was during the time where I was in my hiatus. And she was like, "Yeah, there's this guy FB.Christopher. He's like the new Chubby Muffin." And if those
Shout
who
out
know
Chubby Muffin.
those who know Chubby Muffin,
Love him.
that's the guy like I looked up to in fingerboarding, because I would watch his videos and just try and
I think he was like it for a while.
yeah,
For a little bit.
yeah,
He was
yeah,
like,
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh, yeah.
And in my eyes, like, he's still up there.
Yeah,
So,
I love it.
I wish you'd come back.
I know, I really do too.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so she was like, he's like the new Chubby Muffin. You got to check out his videos. And I was like, dude, sick. And then I bought one of your boards and made a
Thank
video
you.
on it. And then you saw it. And then I met you at Fingerboard Con. But yeah, that's the rest is history.
Versus history. You just
Yeah.
watched the vlogs from that point.
I did. I think I
Dude.
started from vlog 1 and then made my way all the way up to when I started getting in them.
In them.
Now I'm in a lot of them.
Heck yeah.
I love that.
A lot of people that want to get into social media, especially with fingerboarding, will say like it just takes one video to take off, right?
I'm gonna check my headphones really quick.
Oh yeah, do your thing. You look great.
They're kind of
You look great.
Thanks. Sorry.
No,
They're like
you look
falling to
great.
the back. So I'm
That's what I'm saying. Headphone
my
check.
bad. My bad. Headphone
Oh, they
check.
are fun.
they're like to the back, but I think it's fine. It's a style choice.
I love it. I love it. A lot of people will say that it only takes one video just to crack off on social media. For me, it was a video where I had went to a park in Pico Rivera, and they had a fingerboard park.
Yeah.
Right there in the park, and it's kind of crappy. Just the material they made it with is like super rocky and super like crunchy. And I made a video to like total voiceover TikTok style where it was like I was at the park and I randomly found this, and I remember it's like I posted the video, and the next day I woke up, and I think I had like 20,000 followers
Just off one video?
Off one video, mind you. I was at already like maybe 2,000-3,000 followers.
Yeah.
And then it posted that video and it shot up super quick.
I was in Fullerton yesterday, and they have one at Independence Park.
Yeah.
And
a
I
lot
drove
of people
past it
thought
and
that's
went,
where I was.
I could make a video on it.
Dude.
I should have.
Dude, I reposted that video a couple times and it always goes.
Yeah?
It always goes. So I posted that video. The next day I'm at like a pool party, right?
Yeah.
And my stepdad, I told him about it, so he kept refreshing my page.
Right.
And every couple minutes he'd be like, "You gained another 1,000. You gained another 1,000."
Dude, that's so
Wow.
exciting.
And it kind of peaked out at around like 40,000, and I was like, "Bro,
Yeah.
this is like crazy,"
This is
you
it.
know.
I
And then
made
that's when you start, you know, you're like, "Bro, we
Yeah.
just got to keep it going."
made
Speaking of viral videos, what is your most viral video to date?
To date,
To date,
can I pull it up?
any platform. Go
We,
ahead.
I want to say it's on YouTube Shorts, and I can pull it up in 4 seconds here. And it was me gripping a board just with grip tape.
Dude, the grip videos always go.
I really have no idea why. I posted it
I
on
don't
all
know why either,
platforms.
but it's true.
they always go.
They always go for some reason.
Yeah.
I
It's satisfying.
posted it
Oh,
on
yeah.
all platforms, and it popped off on every platform.
Yeah.
1 second here. Sorry, guys. Dun, dun,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
dun,
think
dun,
I have
dun, dun,
an early video of doing the secret tape, 1,000,000 views. Just,
Yeah?
yeah,
The secret tape?
yeah.
You want to maybe come back to me and
Sure.
okay.
And we want to talk about your most viral video?
Sure.
Have it plugged in?
Mine's ready. I know what
Yeah,
it
go-
is.
let's
hear it.
It's a goo unboxing.
Really?
Yeah. So I ordered, like, me and my brother both ordered stuff from Goo, and it was the process of us opening it, and that was it. I was talking about it. It's one of those videos where you don't think it's gonna get a lot of views, and then it just blows up. And
It
you know,
always
to this
happens
day,
that way.
I get comments on it every day. It's still growing, and it's funny. I didn't keep any single thing that I opened in that video. I sold it all.
It happens. That's the way it goes.
That's wild.
But it always happens like that, right? Like you
it really
put
does.
so much effort into a video and you're like, this
Yeah.
is the one.
I remember we were just,
Yeah.
and I was actually going to say something similar, which is that like both of my videos, I mean, one of them actually was like higher effort, but I remember like my most viral video, I wasn't expecting to do well at all. It was just kind of like,
Just,
I was just going with the trend. I don't know if you guys remember the I want to go home trend,
oh yeah.
but it was basically just me.
I love it.
It was like when you've been filming your friend for like 1,000,000 years
I've seen that one.
and they,
Yeah.
yeah, and it's just like, I got like 1.8 million
On what platform?
on
Crazy.
TikTok. On
TikTok.
TikTok.
Did,
sorry, yeah.
did Manny specify on what platform?
Mine was TikTok.
TikTok,
It's
okay.
like 60K views.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's
That's
a lot
wild.
of it.
it's
Yeah,
always
it's a
the
lot of
ones that you
people.
least expect, and that is the frustrating part. What about you, Chris? What has been your most viral video, and on what platform?
I want to say it was the one that I talked about, Finding the Park.
Okay.
But that was on TikTok. But my most viral video on YouTube Shorts, I think that one has the most. If I'm not mistaken, it's sitting at like 2 million views, and it's a line. It's a super quick line.
Was there like a voiceover attached to it at all?
No. Until this day, it's still one of my most popular videos. Like whenever I check my analytics on YouTube, it's like, oh, this video did like, 40% of your views and comments. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's just like a pretty basic line.
It's got to be people that are like, wait, you can do this on a deck tab?
No, everyone
You know?
comments and is like, this is so satisfying. And
Yeah.
it's just,
It's
I
like
don't know.
slow-mo clips,
Yeah.
too.
Slow-mo
Yeah.
clips and just super like self-filmed. And
Don't be surprised if you see some lines of me on.
Same.
yeah,
Don't be surprised.
it
but, yeah.
goes super crazy. What about
I
you,
should
Jake?
try.
You got it pulled up now?
I did find it. It was I don't know what kind of made me want to just make a grip tape video. I think I was just like, I haven't posted in a few days. So I was like, how to regrip your board, and that on YouTube Shorts it did 5.8 million views
Wow.
on YouTube Shorts.
Wow.
Sick.
And on
Really?
on TikTok it did 3.5, and then on Instagram only
I'm
a
about
few.
to make a grip
it was like
video today. Oh.
it was like a few 100K, but still, on all platforms that one just
5
did.
million. That's a lot.
And I did another grip video. I didn't repost that one. I made a whole separate one, and that one still popped off too.
Dude, I'm
So
telling you,
I don't
grip
know.
videos.
I don't know why people want to see me grip tape a board,
They
but
go, dude. But you know what though? I've experienced that. I think we've talked about my first board.
Yeah.
When I got it, I didn't understand. I was like, why is it square?
Yeah.
Like, and we talked about that. I was like, why is it square? And I tried, from like, skateboarding or whatever, you kind of like sand it a little bit and then you go around with the razor blade.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Foam grip. There's no way. I ran through like 3 pieces of grip and I told you, I was so mad that I just put it in the drawer and never used it again.
No.
And came back to it a couple months later.
When did you finally figure out that you have to like put pressure on it and like?
Once I read the instructions that came with the board. There was a little paper.
What?
Yeah, it was really bad. It was really bad.
It's okay.
Yeah, talking about your most viral videos, we kind of touched on the fact that it's always the videos that you don't expect to pop off that pop off.
Yeah.
And then vice versa, the videos that you think are going to pop off that you put the most effort into don't pop off.
Don't. Yeah,
Talk to me about a time, Amethyst, that you put a lot of effort into a video and it just totally bombed. And how did you kind of recover from that?
Honestly, that has happened a lot of times. I couldn't even give you one specific time because I feel like it actually happens more often than not. I feel like more often than not, the really like the high effort videos, end up not necessarily doing as well. But I think as far as recovering from that, I think I'm just so used to it, and I kind of go into posting all those videos with a low expectation. So if it ends up better than that, I'm kind of just like, yeah, cool.
Okay.
Like for example, the mini mart video that I just made, it was like
Cleaning the mini mart?
Yeah, cleaning the mini mart.
That's so good.
And it was like 2 minutes or something. It was like longer. It might have been 3. But yeah, like I think that got like 1,000 views on TikTok and like 2,000 views on Instagram or something.
It's good.
No complaints whatsoever.
Yeah.
But again, that's something that took me, like I filmed from the start of the morning to the end of the day versus like something like that one TikTok that was 1.8 million views took me 20 minutes of filming and maybe 10 minutes of editing.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how that works out sometimes.
Yeah. What about you, Manny?
For me, the one I can think, I usually don't expect like that one of my videos is gonna pop up ever. Like I just, they all happen the same way. I'm just doing stuff. I record it in voiceover. But the one time I had that thought, it was in the middle of filming it. I got like fingerboard spots in Little Tokyo. I was just down in Little Tokyo and I was like, yo, I'm getting some good spots. This is gonna cook. I remember the next day I was telling like my friends like, yo, y'all not ready for this one. Like this is gonna get, like it's gonna cook. But when I posted it, like flopped immediately. The only comments there are like, bro, why don't you actually skateboard? Like,
those are the worst.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, I thought this one was gonna be a good one, but it just happens.
Yeah,
it's random.
Absolutely. What about you, Jake? I know you have a couple. Respectfully, I know you have a couple floppers that we've talked about.
Well, the only ones that I can really think of are like I'm sure there are tons that I'm not thinking of, but just recently, I've noticed that like on all platforms, it's just been super rough.
Oh yeah.
And I've looked at like my last few videos like on YouTube Shorts and TikTok and Instagram, and it's like, and I put a lot of effort in those too, so it is kind of it's hard to see that, but I mean, I kind of told myself like before I got into it, I was like, every video's not gonna be 1 million views or whatever,
right.
So I kind of just had to like mentally prepare for that. But I think at the end of the day, if you could just keep it, because I started this for fun, and I just have to remember that, and if I keep that same mindset, it's like, it's whatever. As long as I'm proud of it, it's
that's
worth it.
Perfect. Segues into the next question. When it comes to social media, a lot of people chase numbers, chase views, chase likes, because it feels good, right? You post a video, a couple thousand views, 10,000 views, 20,000 views, feels great, right? What are some ways that people can kind of combat that, or what would be your suggestions to not so much focus on the numbers? Because let's face it, not every single video is going to hit. Not every single video is going to pop off. No. So if you had to give someone just a quick tip on how to kind of keep your mindset right when it comes to that thing, what do you think? Or what do you do when it comes to numbers?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with your overall mindset on fingerboarding and content creating. You should hopefully be doing it because you enjoy it, and you should hopefully be doing it to have fun doing it. And usually those things will translate into numbers. If you're just consistent about it and you're upping your production quality and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know, like, yeah, I guess.
I feel it.
Yeah.
Well,
I feel it.
One thing I do is I never look at anyone else's accounts. Like even if I feel like I need to go look at something because I want to see something that I remembered, Well, first of all, on TikTok it tells you when you look at people's profiles, and I get really insecure about that. So like I don't want someone to know that I'm looking at their profile.
I think you can have that turned off. I'm pretty sure I have that turned off.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, why has Jake viewed my account 60 times today?
Yeah, at 1 a.m.
Keeps recycling all my videos.
Yeah, so I never look at anyone else's like numbers at least, because then you get in your head, and
For sure.
that the one thing that will like kill your motivation is just like comparing yourself to others.
Right.
The way I do it is like, I'm just gonna put this video out because I enjoy the process of recording it, editing it is very fun for me, and once it's out there, like once it's posted, I tell myself, this is gonna go wherever it goes. It's gonna flop. It's gonna do good. No matter what, I'm enjoying doing it, and for me, the second that this hobby or like this, the process of making fingerboarding content becomes one, stressful, or two, like boring to me, like I'm ready to just like walk away because it's not worth it. Like in the end, we're all just having fun. We're playing toy skateboards.
Yeah.
So I think the second you take it too serious, like you're setting yourself up for that burnout. And
And I kind of stopped because I wasn't sure if I was going to mention that. But that's kind of where I've been, right? Where like, I think we all mentioned, right? Like we kind of get burnt out.
Oh yeah.
Somewhat easily. I know that's true about me, and I kind of sensed like impending burnout.
Yeah.
And I kind of was like, okay, I don't want to be done with this. I don't want to be permanently over this. So that's kind of why I've been taking a break, and I think that that's fine because again, like I want to be doing it because I enjoy it. I want to be doing it because it's fun, not just necessarily to chase numbers. Because then I think that takes a lot of the joy out of it, honestly.
Absolutely.
I think it really
Well,
does.
that leads me to my next question for Jake. So there's a common, I would say misconception, but there's a common opinion about content creators online, especially like in the fingerboard community, that a lot of us do it for views and for likes, and you always see those memes. It's like, do it for fun and not, you know what I mean? And so what do you say to that? Because obviously I think it's safe to say for the four of us, that's not why we do it. Because if that's why we did it, I think we all would have stopped after our first flop. Totally. But what would you say to that, Jake? If someone was trying to make the argument that fingerboard content creators only fingerboarded and posted content for validation from the internet and likes and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I'm speaking for myself here. Like I remember the first time I saw somebody fingerboarding, I thought that was so cool. And I still do think it's cool. Like watching Stolly compete at Fast Fingers. Mm-hmm. Just like watching him do the tricks, land on the rail. And it's like, I still get so mesmerized when I see that stuff. And I don't know. So I think it's just like that, the first spark in me. Mm-hmm. Like I still have that for fingerboarding, even though I've dropped it several times. Yeah. At the moment, I still have that. So I don't know. I feel like as long as you're trying super hard on a video and you're super proud of it, and if you can watch it back in like 2 years and still be proud of that video, then it's like who cares how many views it gets, as long as you're proud of it. So
heck yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Chris? I want to hear what you got to hear.
Me too.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I've seen it a lot, right? Like it's a common thing that people will post memes and stuff like that when it comes to like, oh, do it for the love of fingerboarding and not for views. And it's like from an outsider looking in, I get it, but at the same time, it's like, it just bums me out because I feel like just because we like making content, like we kind of are up against like, we're not fingerboarders enough for fingerboarders, if that makes sense. But we're also like, we can't be too much of a content creator because then we're not a fingerboarder, or we can't fingerboard too much because we're not a content creator. Like it's always that struggle. Which perfect segue into the next question here. It says, would you say you're a fingerboarder who creates content or a content creator who fingerboards? Amethyst, what do you think?
Oh no. See, I actually had to like genuinely think about that for a second.
Pass it off. If you don't have an answer,
but
pass it off.
I think I was a fingerboarder first.
Right.
So I mean, because I think I'm both. I am both a fingerboarder and a content creator separately. I was a fingerboarder first, so I think maybe that will be my answer. I was fingerboarding first, and then my love for content creation came second. Mm-hmm. And in this portion of my life, they come together.
I love that. I couldn't have answered that better myself. Yeah, it's one and the same at this point.
Right.
What do you think, Manny? If someone referred to you, if someone not so much referred to you, but if someone thinks of you as Manny, as a content creator over a fingerboarder, does that bug you at all?
Well, I definitely identify as a content creator who fingerboards.
Okay. I love that you said that.
I love it.
That's huge.
Because I mean, I've always made content. Like that's all. I just find different like niches and I just go for it because that's just the kind of person I am. I just love the process of making content. It's fun, and I just so happened to land on fingerboarding, and I went into it thinking like this is gonna be me documenting my process as like a new fingerboarder because when I posted my first video, like I couldn't even kickflip. I couldn't like I was. I look back at those clips and I'm like, dang, like I was kind of bold for just like going into this and not knowing what I was doing, just knowing the way people are about their tricks and about how they land and stuff. But I definitely think that I am a content creator first, but I have a lot of respect for the fingerboarding community. Like I definitely think that I'm aware of what I am. Like I'm never going to be in there saying like, yeah, like I'm doing this because I'm good at fingerboarding. I'm doing this because whatever. Like I definitely am aware that I'm so new at this and I know that there's like years of like fingerboarding history before me and I'm still trying to catch up on it.
Oh yeah.
Because sometimes I'll be talking to people that I meet at fingerboarding events and they drop names and then I'll be like, "Oh, who's that?" And they look at me like, "You don't know who that is?" And I'm like, "Bro, I only been here 4 months, bro. Go easy on me." Like,
I feel it.
But so definitely I am a content creator first, and I'm trying to find that like, not feel too. I kind of get a little hard on myself sometimes too, because I feel like really big imposter syndrome. I'm like, because I've noticed like people kind of. I've gotten the vibe that people kind of get bothered by like the fact that I get views because they're just like, yo, this guy is not that good at fingerboarding, but he's kind of getting a lot of views. And I'm aware of that. Like I could totally read that when I talk to some people. Yeah. So I like to stay aware of that and just, I'm trying to not step on any toes as I'm creating content.
No, but I think it goes back to what you said. I mean, you said it. It's very bold of you to not know anything, right? To not know what you're doing and be posting that. And to anyone who might be bothered about them, they're the ones that didn't post their fingerboard journey. Like you were the one who was bold enough to go and say, "Oh, I don't know anything, but I'm going to still make content." Right? And that's probably why you've been so successful up until this point, is because there is a need for that. There's a lot of people who might look at me, Jake and Chris, and go, "Oh, so maybe I have to be a pro fingerboarder to enjoy this." Yeah. And that's just not true. You know what I mean? Right. I feel like that's amazing that people have content like yours to look to and go, "Oh yeah, like I can just be new at this, and it can be equally fun." Yeah,
I've spoken on that before. Yeah, a lot of my first fingerboard clips don't exist anymore. I didn't seriously. I've talked about it before. I deleted a lot of them because like I was bullied on a lot of them. Seriously, and it sucks because looking back, if you scroll all the way back, like some of those videos, you can tell I'm still learning, but none of those are like. There's at least like a 5-month gap of like my first post to like when I started posting content. Wow. Because I went back and deleted so many videos. Yeah. Because it's just like when you first start, it's like, you're learning, like you said, you can't kickflip. And so I was doing the whole flicking the board and, catching it on something. And I was like, "Oh, this is dope." Yeah. And, when you'd have someone in the comments, even one person, you're just like, "Oh, no."
But it's funny because that's like the majority of people who fingerboard, like they kind of fingerboard like that. Like I think we get at least... Now, for me, more recently, like I'm surrounded by all these like really insane fingerboarders, and I have to remember like the average person out there is not like like sponsored, like popping off with like nollie heel flips first try. Like that's just not realistic, and
we're not all Jake PFB when it comes to.
It's
nollie
hard for
heels.
me to remember that sometimes.
Yeah. So I feel definitely. So I try to think about that too. I can't compare myself to the skill level because I'm new.
No, I love it. I love that you embrace that. What about you, Jake? Content creator who fingerboards or fingerboarder who creates content?
Well, I'm with Amethyst on this one. Like how I was a fingerboarder first. I don't know if most of us were, but you said you were a content creator first. Yeah. I think I would like to be a fingerboarder, but I think when people think of me, they think of the content because I've been fingerboarding for a long time, but I haven't been making content.
Does that bug you though? Like, do you kind of feel like I want to be known as I want to be respected as a fingerboarder? Like, does it bug you that people essentially see you as an influencer first and fingerboarder second?
I think in a little way, but not really. I don't know. I just have so much fun doing it, so it doesn't really. Right. I don't really care. They can think whatever.
What are your thoughts on people associating your following on social media with like your level of fingerboard skill? Like, have you seen that to where like you have so many followers and they're like, "How does he have that many followers? I can beat that guy in skate," or "He can't nollie heel. How does he have 100,000 followers?" What do you think about that?
I've seen it. I just think it's obviously silly for reasons that we
correlation?
just mentioned, right? Like Manny is rapidly getting followers, and it's off of just posting genuine content, right? It's not so. Yeah, I just think that's silly. Like I would not claim to be the best fingerboarder in the world by any means. There's so many people that I would put above me, but my views are above theirs, and it also just kind of has to do with how much you put yourself out there.
Right.
You know, because some of those people aren't interested in content creation whatsoever. Some people who are really, really good just kind of want to, you know, make their edits and just fingerboard a piece.
Yeah, absolutely. Quick question. Next question, I should say. So in this community, there are people and even some brands that are total anti-influencer, anti-content. If you had to make a case to those people as to why fingerboard content creators are good for the community, what would you say, Jake?
To the community?
Yeah, like what?
Yeah.
As far as like being, part of the community, how do we help? Do we not? Does it matter? Is it that serious? Or?
No, I think we help the community and companies too, because like when we're promoting companies,
Right.
And for the community, I've gotten a lot of DMs and messages, just saying that like, hey, your tutorials have helped. And I'm like, really? I kind of just posted, not really.
Yeah.
I kind of just posted and just be like, all right, well, there's the content.
You did teach me how to put on boiler rails.
Thanks.
Love that.
They do come with instructions, by the way.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Monorails do. They do.
I didn't even
They come
bother
with
to look at the instructions.
But yeah. What did I just say? Oh yeah. The tutorials.
Love that.
Yeah, people have said the tutorials help. Even setting up a board too. They were like, "Oh, I didn't know that you could take a Black River tool and make holes for your board."
That was fire advice, by the way. I do that now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm sure I learned it off somebody, but I've been doing it for so long. It's like,
So I have like an interesting perspective on that too.
Let's hear it.
I come from I used to like, I'm an artist in my personal life, and I come from like years of selling my art. And actually, back in the day, I used to pop up with Slush Cult before they were fingerboarding. Like we did a few events together. Yeah.
voice cracked.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, no, yeah. So I knew who Slush Cult was before I knew about fingerboard. Like, well, seriously knew about fingerboarding. But so I come from that background, and a big thing like you don't realize is you do need content creators. You do need those people who have following, at least nowadays, to get your name out there.
Right.
And I personally believe that the more people that are making content around fingerboarding, the more it's going to benefit these companies, because that's the gateway into becoming a fingerboarder. Is just you're just scrolling one day and then you run into a Jake video, you run into a Chris video, and from there you start buying the products that you guys are posting. So I definitely think the companies should start taking content creators more seriously. I think it'd be cool to see more like content creators like just writing for different brands, because in the end, like those are the people who are getting the views, not the guy. So I've also noticed that the reason why I feel like we're here is because we put ourselves out there, we talk on our content,
Right.
and that's what people want to see. You can scroll, you can look up the fingerboarding hashtag, you can scroll down, pass by like 20 videos of just people hitting clips. And the second you run into like a commentary video, like that has a voiceover on it, that's the one that's popping off.
Yeah.
Because people enjoy when people are being very like candid and just putting themselves out there, sharing their opinion. And I think that should be taken more seriously by the companies. And I'm not saying like I don't want to be sponsored, I really don't. But like, it's just, I think I would love to see more people who are just making content and they're sponsored and they're not the best fingerboarders, but they're showing the products off. Like that's
building that personal relationship
Yes.
between brand and consumer. I like that.
And the audience gets something if you're, doing a tutorial, or if you're showing how to set it something up, or fingerboard finds.
Yeah.
They get something out of it, and they're like, I can do that, or I'm gonna go to TJ Maxx and go look for this fingerboard bag that's not made for fingerboarding.
I mean, in a perfect world, I think we all want to live on an Instagram where you can post your clips and just blow up off
I know.
that. And
Yeah.
unless you're doing crazy like backhanded stuff. I mean, realistically, it's one of those things where it's like people want something from your content. So if you post a grip tape video, you're giving someone who may not know how to grip their video, or maybe they don't do it as clean as you, you're giving them that new insight, and they're going to watch your video longer than a 2-minute edit. You know what I mean? And it's just the way things goes, whether you like it or not. But segue into the next question here. The word influencer, or even the term content creator seems to have a lot of misconceptions attached to it, right? What is one misconception you've noticed someone has had about you because they perceive you as an influencer?
I have one.
Go ahead.
Sometimes I'll randomly like reply to people and they're like, "Oh my God, you replied." And I'm like,
yeah.
or the other day I autographed a fingerboard.
Yeah.
And that's so like, oh my, I felt really weird about it because, you know, I'm just a guy posting videos. I don't even have the numbers that you guys have. And I can imagine, you know, how people might react when you reply to them. So I think there's like this misconception that like anyone who posts content, like they're kind of famous or they're kind of like important in some way. But, you know, anyone can really do it. Even with my numbers, I get those reactions. And I think it's so funny. Like, I'm just a guy. Like, you can just message me and I'm going to reply to you. Like, you know, unless you're like a kid. Like, I try not to reply to the children. Because it's like, you know, it's like a weird area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just say hi at an event.
Yeah, I'll like
DM you.
their comments or, you know, but I'm just, So definitely, like, we're just people. Like, you literally can probably message all of us here and we'll probably reply. Like, that's a misconception for sure.
What do you think?
I agree with all that. I was going to say, I might not message you back. I'm sorry. I'm very bad at, everyone that's ever messaged me knows.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with them. It has everything to do with me. I'm horrible at responding. But yeah, I don't know. I agree with
They pile up and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, and then I have DMs from months ago, and I'm just like, oh no. But I agree with everything you said. Like, the funny things that come with it. Like, I've kind of gotten used to like the signing autographs and stuff, but it still is funny to me because I'm just like, I'm not important or anything. I'm just Amethyst, and I just put videos out there.
It does take a second to kind of get used to the whole, like, can I have a picture with you? It's always cool, and it's always flattering, but you kind of always have that feeling in the back of your head, like, why? Like, I'm just, I'm just here hanging out, like, and I appreciate the autographs and the pictures, but, you know, you still kind of, and maybe it is like imposter syndrome, where you feel like, I shouldn't be here, you know, or I shouldn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. I don't know if you ever fully get used to that.
You don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I used to take pictures with people back in the day because my girlfriend's kind of like a micro influencer. Like back in 2016, she had like a good amount of followers, and that wasn't as like common. And we used to just be out and about, and people would ask us for pictures.
Really?
And yeah, it'd be funny. You know, I'd just be there like, you know, hey,
The hold my bag.
Yeah.
I'm not even the one posting the content. Like I'm just the boyfriend.
Yeah.
And there was a moment where I remember we were at Warped Tour, and this girl came up to us and was like, "Oh my God, like, can I have a picture?" And, you know, I assumed she's talking to my girlfriend. So I was like, yeah, like, I can take it. She's like, no, I want you in it too. And
That's
I was
so
like,
cool.
oh, okay. And so she just handed the phone to her friend. And then I guess they took the picture, and I didn't even realize they were taking it. So there's a picture of me out there, like,
Floating around.
eating. I'm in the middle of like a bite. My mouth's open. And then my girlfriend's just there awkwardly because we did not expect it. But you never get used to it. Like, it's so funny.
Yeah. I like the reactions of parents. Like, they're the ones taking the picture.
Yeah.
And then they're like, they love your videos. And I'm like, and I've said this a few times, and I kind of regret it, where I'm like, I just play with toys, like kind of like that, and I'm like, that was dumb. Like, this kid like looks up to us, and I'm, you know, it seems like I'm ashamed of it. So I don't know. I've kind of changed my outlook on it, I guess.
Here's a on the fly question. A lot of people talk about fingerboarding, and I think Manny mentioned earlier, and then you kind of said that too. So it's an interesting question that I kind of always think about. When people say that, when people are like, we're just playing with toys, like, do you agree with that? Because I've heard you say it too, which is not a bad thing. But personally, I feel like I don't ever find myself saying that because I feel like it almost discredits our hobby a little bit. Like, or is it just me overthinking it?
I say it as a joke a lot, but and I've said this before. After going to Fast Fingers in Germany and just watching like how competitive it gets, because it can get competitive here, but over there it's it's a whole nother story,
Whole ball game,
and
whole different ball game.
And I wouldn't say it's a sport, but it's definitely a competitive hobby.
Yeah,
but I still joke and say it's a toy.
Yeah, I think it's as complicated as you make it, right? Because you could put the same argument onto skateboarding, and people have been doing that for a long time. Oh yeah, right. And there's people that say it's a toy. There's people that say Andy Anderson says it's a puzzle. Right,
Yeah.
but I think what it comes down to is like,
Never heard
what is
that one.
yeah, it's awesome. I think that's really deep, but I think it comes down to what is it to you, because I think it can be a toy to you, and that's okay. And I think it can also be a hobby, or it can be even something greater, right? It can be something that you consider a skill set, and I think all of those things are okay. So I don't think it's like, oh, it has to be this, it has to be that. I think to some people it's a toy, to some people it's a skill set or something greater, and there's probably lots of things in between.
I feel like the only time I call it a toy is when people get too serious about it. When people start beefing over it.
Absolutely.
When people start, arguing about like sponsor etiquette and just like the random things that to me it's like it's not that deep. That's when I get frustrated and I'm like, okay, we are fingerboarding. We are playing with toys. Yeah. But also I have a lot of respect for the people who, play it competitively and they're insane. Like I respect a good fingerboarder. I love it. I love to see it. But also I like to like always remind myself, like when people start getting mad about it or there's beef, I'm just like, in the end, we're just playing with little skateboards, bro. Like it's not that deep. Yeah.
I love that.
That is when I revert to that argument. If there's ever beef in anything, I'm just like, guys, this is not what we're here to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just here to play with some toys. I feel it.
But you touched on it so that you don't think it is.
And maybe it's just me. Nothing against people who say that it is, because I get the sentiment, right? Like I get like it is literally a toy. Yeah. But I feel like I don't say it because I feel like it almost like adds to like for instance skateboarding. Like I don't think skateboarding is a toy. Right. So I wouldn't call it a toy. I think that's serious. Like people do it in the Olympics, people do it, as like their profession and stuff. Right. So when it comes to fingerboarding, I almost feel like it adds to the argument of someone saying like almost like downplaying like our hobby that we're so passionate about. Right. So me personally, I don't like to say that because I'm that's just good. Like,
Well, I love that, and that does come down to the perception of the word toy, right? Because like for me, I don't receive it. If someone says that I'm playing with a toy, I don't take that as like. But like but obviously everyone has like a different kind of like definition of like what those things are. So
I love how
I totally see that.
Yeah.
I love how
Manny put it.
Yeah. Like a puzzle. Guys, chill.
Guys, chill.
Just
come
on.
Yeah.
It's in a Ruby.
Yeah.
I
All
love
right. Yeah. 2 more questions, and then I want to start talking about the actual creative process that we go through. So, question for Jake: do we need more fingerboard content creators?
Sure. Absolutely.
I don't know if I've said that this entire podcast.
I
don't think you have either.
We got to start. I'm going to start.
You've been doing great.
Absolutely.
Before I started making content, I loved watching, and I still do. I love watching other people explain things and just how they see fingerboarding. I love Chubby Muffin, Kelsey Fingerboards, Collier Decks. I love watching your videos. And then I came across Manny just on my For You page like a few months ago, and I was like, dude, this guy's awesome. He explains things like
you sent me one of his videos. Yeah, and that's how I found out about it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You're like, dude, he's killing it.
And then
you sent it to me. I was like, whoa.
On Go Skateboarding Day, we were at a park in Whittier, and we had like the Black River table set up. And then I got this message, and it just said Manny, because I knew your Instagram was Manny GFB, but it just said Manny on my phone, and you were like, I'm gonna pull up. And I was like, cool, like awesome. Never met this guy. And then he started talking, and I'm like, that's that guy. Like I had like oh my gosh. So yeah, no, for sure. I think I love watching other people.
I love that.
Fingerboard and explain fingerboarding. So definitely, if you want to do it, start.
I love that. Amethyst, question for you. In your opinion, is it possible for brands to grow their social media platform footprint without social media content? Not so much influencers, but social media content.
Like, as in like not posting?
As in just not posting content?
No.
Not at all?
No.
Not in 2024?
No, not in 2024.
You need content.
At least not on, you need content. Because, I'm sorry, but like we've reached like one of the peaks of competition on all of these platforms. So you are now competing with like a lot of people who are like, you're competing for people's attention, and there's a lot of people.
There's a lot of brands.
There's a lot of brands out there. So yeah, I think any content at all, and like I've actually like given this advice to a lot of people who are like, oh, but it's not good enough. It's not polished enough. And I'm just like, honestly, any content at all is better than no content. Like if it's just silly reels, and you don't know what you're doing or whatever, like that is better than not posting at all. Post is better than not post, in my opinion.
I love it. Let's talk about the process we all go through when creating content. So it says, are you someone who plans out your ideas, or are you more of an on-the-fly content creators? What do you think, Amethyst?
But I think both is really important. Because some things have to be planned out because you have a vision in your head for what you want it to look like. Right. Like maybe, for example, you have a setup video. Yeah. Right. And like for something like that, you want to kind of have that planned out. Sorry, my mic's like going crazy. That's okay. You want to have that planned out and stuff like that. But like there's other things where maybe something's happening in the moment. Maybe you're at the Slush Cult event and something crazy is going down on the 30 stair. Yeah. And then you're just like, oh, I'm going to whip out my phone really quick and like capture this moment because I think it would be cool to post. So I think both is important. Just having your phone on you ready to kind of like be in the moment and kind of just like roll with what's happening, but also like, yeah, sitting down and planning stuff. I always have stuff in my notes. And sometimes I write whole scripts in my notes for my videos too.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. If it's like a long voiceover or something, I'll write out a whole script just so I don't have to deal with it. Sometimes I won't. It just kind of depends on like, yeah, like how polished I want that particular video to be.
I like that. Okay. When it comes to creating content, series, like someone creating a series has become kind of like a big thing. Like I've kind of like did my thing with like the Dollar Tree videos. And then like 60-second edit, most recent.
I love it.
And you saw how quickly that was an idea I had 30 seconds before I told you guys what the idea was.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You didn't plan that out?
No.
Love that.
We were just there.
Told me.
You know what it was? It was we were about to leave, remember? And I was like, yo, we didn't even get an edit. And then I was like, oh, we should do it this way. And it just,
60-second edit.
I think I told you guys, I was like, we're going to film something. And if it's good, we'll see. And if it's not good, and it just worked out because now we're on 4 of it. So speaking of series, and you've done like fingerboard finds at every single store on the planet.
I've done tips and tricks. I've done, oh my gosh. I used to do one that I'm thinking, I actually thought about this last night. I did, how I started content creating, I would do trick of the day.
I remember.
And that got people commenting. They're like, please, day 5 of asking, day 5 of that, or whatever. And so last night I was like, that'd be kind of OD just to kind of to post it every day. So I'm thinking like trick of the week, where I like spend a long time trying to do a trick.
Like a line of the week or something.
Yeah, line of the week. There you go.
I like that. Well, I was going to ask, so someone who has started a series, do you feel like that is a helpful route to go for up and coming content creators?
I think so. I think there will be some people that, you know, kind of wait for it and wait for part 2, part 3. But yeah, also if people really like the series, like they'll follow along and they'll, you know, go back and watch previous videos, get the views up, whatever. So 100%.
I love that. Yeah. Manny, what are some ways that you feel you're trying to experiment with to get more engagement on your videos?
One thing, I mean, I usually don't like, if I overthink things, I get in my head and then I just don't do it at all. But one thing I've tried is like asking questions in the video, like, "Oh, what do you think I should do? Yeah, what do you think I should do next?" Or let me know if there's a better way to do this. Or
heck yeah,
and you do get the people answering the question. I think that's something that sometimes works. Sometimes people completely ignore it because sometimes I genuinely want to know. Yeah, I'm not doing it because I want to get people to comment, and then no one comments it, and I'm like, "Oh man, I got to figure this out on my own now."
Yeah. No. The reason I ask is because that's exactly what I was thinking in my mind when I was typing out that question. Yeah, like call to actions are like the best thing. So important. You know, even with brands, even if you're not doing like full on like crazy content, asking questions and asking for a response. Because the moment people start commenting and liking and stuff like that, the algorithm just pushes your video.
Sure.
So a call to action on every video, every post is like a must, 100%. Especially if you're trying to get it going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that. Next question here for y'all. All right. It says, what are some tips to make your content stand out? And is posting straight up fingerboard clips a good way to grow your platform in 2024?
I have a strong opinion on this.
What's that?
Because I like to approach like content creation the way I like approach the way I make my art, the way I approach basically everything is like you have to set yourself apart from everyone and you have to innovate in a space or else your video, whatever you're making is just going to fall in the pool of 1,000 other of the same type. So for me, when I started the fingerboard stuff, I immediately gravitated to commentary stuff. Like Jake's stuff, like Chris stuff, like everyone's stuff here. Yeah. I saw your guys' videos and I'm like, that's something I want to do, but my spin on it was like, I'm new to this. These people, you know, they've been on it, you know, like, so I think my spin was like, oh, I'm completely new at this. If you like, it's funny, like my commentary is the exact same on my personal account. Like, I was just going out trying restaurants, like my girlfriend's vegan, so we go to a lot of vegan restaurants. So it's the same type of commentary, except I'm doing it on fingerboarding. So it was very much up my alley, but I had to make my own spin because I didn't want to just be another Jake, another Chris. Like it was just like, I need to do my own thing. And I think that's important in anything you're doing. You got to innovate. You can't just do the same thing. It's not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I think having your own identity is the biggest thing people miss. Because I think it's safe to say we've all done tech deck videos.
Yeah.
But
Gotta
you know what I
upgrade a
mean?
tech
But
deck.
it's like not one of them is going to feel exactly the same because we all input so much personality into the videos that it's like you're still getting an upgraded tech deck video, but it's like in Jake's format or mine, you know, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, having an identity online is definitely the way to go. What do you think though that because a lot of people who kind of scoff at the fact that it's like, oh, we're fingerboarders, we should just be able to post fingerboard clips. Like, and it kind of sucks that like that's not a way to grow your platform.
Yeah.
So what would you say to that?
It's a bummer, but it kind of just goes back to like the reality. If you don't post, like you won't. It's just kind of like you just kind of. We are all living in Instagram's reality, right? So unfortunately, like we follow Instagram's rules. We don't set our own. And Instagram, TikTok, and all those platforms, for whatever reason, say whenever we post just fingerboard clips, it doesn't do well. And it goes back to what you said, just fingerboard clips, and what you said, Just fingerboard clips isn't providing anything to anyone, right? When you're posting just fingerboard clips, it's just something to watch. And it's something that's like, again, you fall into the sea of the rest of it. Whereas when you do commentary, I think that's what makes or breaks it, because that's when you start providing stuff to people. You know what I mean?
right.
And also when they start putting a connection with you as a person, you know what I mean? And like, oh, this is a real person that's behind this. So
Like when they're gaining something from your video.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
instead of doing a kickflip back tail, it's like, tell me how to do a kickflip back tail.
yeah.
You know, give me some tricks and tips.
Yeah. So to
You know?
those people, and like, as much as it sucks, like I just say, you kind of just got to get with the program, or you just don't want views that bad, which is okay. Like if you just want to post fingerboard clips and not like there's nothing wrong with that, and that's fine.
Right.
I like that. If you had to give, we'll do one idea each. If you had to give someone like a new content creator one idea and say, hey, make a video about this, it'll probably go.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm gonna go with grip tape. You need a grip tape video because those will go. You know. But if you, other than grip tape, if you had to give one idea each to a new content creator and say, hey, do like a video like this, and it'll go, what would you say?
Anything budget related. Like if you can provide the audience a budget friendly fingerboard or an obstacle, I think people just go crazy for it.
Right.
You've seen it with the Dollar Tree.
Right.
You've seen, like I've done it with, I'm not going to say PetSmart because that cat thing I just did was
that's
super expensive.
You ruined a $50 cat toy.
The 99-cent store. I've
That's in the
found
new vlog, by the
some
way.
picture frames that are just, that make sick rails or planners or anything. So budget friendly, he's your friend.
I like that. What about you, Manny?
For me, I would say like my videos that have recently been popping off is like going to the fingerboard DIYs. And I think that's fresh because it's not Black River obstacles. It's not like the usual obstacles you see. It's something that's like kind of fresh, but also kind of familiar because of skateboarding, right? So I think using your fingerboard in like really like different settings is gonna make your video stand out. So like I like to take my fingerboard like everywhere I go, and just, you know, if I see a little place I can get a clip on, I'm going to do it and I'm going to post it because no one's seen that before.
Right.
So I definitely think just being creative with your fingerboard spots and like those type of videos will do well. I think so.
And I think that's advice that everyone across the board can take, because
Yeah.
anything other than desk content right now, like any other content other than desk content is
Desk Warriors.
Yeah, I think.
Shout
I mean,
out
don't
to
get
Desk
me
Warriors.
wrong.
Yeah.
We love that.
They're great.
We love that.
We love the good desk
We
clip.
love them. But
That's
yeah,
a
like you
foundation.
said, getting out there and just like other stuff, I think.
I like that.
My answer to the question, I had two like right off the bat, and it would just be like a setup video or a tech deck video. And I know we've all done
Oh, yeah.
those things. And the tech deck video is easy because it's super recognizable. You can go down to your Target and get one for $5 or whatever. And yeah, maybe you like upgrade it with some Grom wheels from Slush Cool or something like that. There's ways to make it inexpensive and stuff like that. And then yeah, like you said, just taking that tech deck and like it doesn't need to be super complex.
Right. I've noticed that, especially for a lot of new content creators, like when I get messages and stuff like that, everyone has trouble. Like they think they need to come up with like the next greatest idea in fingerboard content, when in reality, most ideas, I mean, because let's face it, we're not the first four people to make fingerboard content. There's so many people who have done upgrade tech deck videos, fingerboard find videos. Someone's probably done Dollar Tree videos before I did, and it's one of those things that a lot of fingerboard content creators will stay away from certain things because they feel like, oh, it's already been done. But I noticed that, at least for me, from my perspective, I feel like it cripples a lot of people from even getting started, right? So what are your thoughts on essentially new creators recycling or being inspired by other creators' videos and putting their own spin on it?
My personal thoughts is, like you said, everything is like, there's a lot of recycled ideas out there, and like that's even how art is, right? There's no new art. There's just different renditions on art that's already been done millions of times. So like, yeah, I don't know, just like getting out there, I think, and just like, I don't know. My brain went like,
No. I
come back to me. I'll be
agree.
back.
I think it's more about trying to figure out how to inject your own personality into the ideas. Because if someone does a Dollar Tree build, I love it.
I remember that.
But it's like, if you do it the exact same way and kind of like say the exact same things,
Get the gel kind.
there is a fine line. I'm sure we can all agree, between content that's inspired by their content and then straight ripped off content.
Sure.
And so I think that if you just go the inspired route, it doesn't really matter what you're doing, upgrading a tech deck, a grip video, Dollar Tree video. You just got to inject your personality into the video and make it your own.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it comes from.
And give credit.
For sure.
You have to, like, because then you look like you're just stealing content.
Yeah, you know, I was surprised coming into the game how many content creators are like not down to do that. Like how that a lot of people are just, they'd rather just rip a video.
I've given you credit in many of my videos. Like
I love
and I
it.
think that's one of the things, that's why my mind blanked. It's like, yeah, like go right now, go to my page and do your version of every single one of my videos.
Yeah.
Like do it. Go. I don't care. I'm not
100%.
gonna be bothered about it. Like, yeah, I've done my own version of Jake's and both of your videos. I've done my own spin on, like, like it's a thing. That's inspiring each other is totally a thing.
It will, like, let's say me and Chris make a video that you get inspired by and want to do it. You will reach people that we won't reach, and it'll help people.
Yeah.
So
And Manny will also reach people that you guys won't reach.
Exactly.
It's like, and that goes into the idea of all these content creators. We need them because you don't know who you're going to reach. Like, you don't know where your voice is going to go. You know?
Right.
Another tip that I have a pretty strong opinion on that I've seen a lot of people either not understand or just straight up hate on is reposting content. Honestly, I think that you're totally wasting your time if you're not reposting your content.
Right.
Now, do I think you should repost the same video over and over for a week straight, a month straight? No. But have I went back and posted videos that are like 2-3 months old? Of course. I mean, it's safe to say that we all gain at least a couple hundred followers every week, every month. So when I get the comment that someone's like, bro's out of ideas, he posted this 6 months ago. It's like, it's not the amount of ideas, but I put so much time and effort into this video that the 5,000 other people that now follow me have never seen this video. And I've seen other creators say like, oh, I wouldn't do that. And honestly, missed opportunity.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Missed opportunity. What do you guys think about reposting your old content?
I need to do it.
Yeah, I need to do it. Is what I was saying. Because I don't have anything against it. I guess I never, until you said that, I never perceived it as something that was beneficial.
Oh, you'll get the comments. You'll get
and I'm sure I'll get the comments, but
ideas.
I'm fine. I get lots of comments. I'm good.
Yeah.
And if they notice, thank you for being a super fan.
Literally. Thank you. Thank you. For
Also,
being a
am I
super
supposed to give this to
fan.
someone?
I thought
That's
that
my
was
water.
yours.
We thought
That's
that was
awkward.
yours.
I'm sorry. That's mine.
Oh,
I
I don't want
noticed.
to claim it. It seems weird.
No.
It's hot
We
in
need
here.
to stay hydrated. We need to stay hydrated.
I love my mountain.
Not sponsored.
I
Not
love it.
sponsored.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. Here's a bit of a juicy question. Have you ever been accused of stealing content, or have you ever had a video of yours totally ripped off? You don't need to name names, but have you experienced either one of those, and how did you kind of deal with it? Anyone want to take that one?
I don't think.
Or are we
Unless
gonna
I
leave it
haven't
alone?
seen it. But, I mean, I'm not the type of person to be like, what the heck? That was my idea. 'Cause-
I've seen it. We've talked about it. I've seen the comment on yours.
Me?
Yeah.
Can you
Your
elaborate?
Fingerboard finds video. I remember when I did this.
Oh my.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
I was gonna say
But
I've had
yeah.
comments like that from other people, but then I'll look at their page and I'm just like, what?
I love
I've
it.
literally never seen you, like, not that you didn't do it before me, but I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, I obviously wasn't copying you. Like, we're not mutual.
There's only
Like,
so much you can do.
yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's so funny.
If they get mad, it's like, whatever.
Dude, it's so funny. I had back when I did the Dollar Tree stair set, I'd posted that video, and I think I told you the story before. I think it peaked out at like 200,000 views or whatever, which is sick, right? And by no means am I complaining. It's just like a great story. This kid at the time was doing all my Dollar Tree builds on his own page, and it was super sick. Like he would do like, you know, making like random builds and stuff. And I remember he would always like credit me, right? And I was like, oh, this is sick. He would tag me. One day I started getting comments that were like, oh, credit Chris. I clicked on the video. Bro did like 2 million views on the exact same stair build. But what was crazy is on this video, he did like the same, like almost like copy and paste a script type deal.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. Wow. And so eventually, I mean, you know, he's a kid. So I thought it was
voice,
great.
right?
But I was like, bro, 2 million views. It was like, oh my goodness. Like it's his build now.
Yeah.
Man, but it happens. I only bring it up because, man, that stuff is like, it's real.
Do you ever think like, what did he do different in order for that video to get pushed out? Or do you
No
think it's just
clue.
luck?
Honestly, no clue.
The
Shout out
algorithm
that guy, though.
just favors him.
Yeah, shout out that guy. And it was cool because now he doesn't even make fingerboard content. Just gaming content, so I love it.
Yeah.
I love how that
That
worked
one
out.
viral video.
I love it. I love it.
That's how we got the G15.
Dude.
That's how we got
There
the.
we
This
go.
is the G13, but the
This is
G15
G13.
because the kid that had it decided he wanted to do like I think it was gaming or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now we have the G15 instead.
Well, if you're ever
Heck
trying to
yeah.
get rid of a Black River Park,
Yeah.
just DM me and I'll buy it off you.
Buy it off you.
I want one.
How does one decide? So when someone decides to make content, how does someone decide between long form and short form, or even like taking it as far as starting like a vlogging channel? So if someone's just starting out, they're not sure what content to make.
Yeah.
What advice would you give them to pick between like long term, short, or long form, short form, or even vlogging?
I would tackle the stuff that you think is realistic for like what you can do. Like for me, it was so low effort to just record what I was doing and then talk over it. Because if you go in like, oh, I'm going to start vlogging like that, editing a vlog is way different than editing a TikTok video. Like you have to sit there for hours and, you know, cut and, you know, you have to have some sort of knowledge about doing that. But, you know, with the fact that we have our phones on us all the time and you can download an app like InShot, like it's so intuitive. So I would say like if you want to get into making content, I think it's whatever's easiest for you. You don't have to go out and spend a bunch of money on all kinds of equipment. Like you have your phone on your pocket, that's so easy. And if that's the easiest route you can do, like just do it. And then you're not going to get burnt out right away. You're not going to get scared or overwhelmed right away.
Yeah.
But if you're someone who has a video editing background and you have already have the equipment and you have that means, you might as well just go all out and do it if you're comfortable with it. So I think it's whatever like you feel is realistic for yourself.
I like that.
Yeah.
What do you say, Amethyst?
I think he hit it pretty much right on the head. Like, yeah, if it's for me recently, I've been noticing that I find a lot less joy in pumping out short form content. That's just recently, you know what I mean? And so like I've been enjoying the long form content and stuff. And I'm someone that likes kind of like a bigger project and the idea of taking the time to edit something and stuff like that. So obviously like you said, depending on what's easy for you, maybe not even like financially, but what's mentally easier for you. Because obviously if you want to make long form content, like you said, we can take our phones, we can turn them horizontal and we can download iMovie for free and we can make do for now. You know what I mean? And so I think whichever route you decide to take, I think it's all about finding the cheapest and most efficient and most fun way to do it, I guess. I don't know.
Jake, when I was at your house, you had a good, I don't want to say good, but you had like an outlook on vlogging.
If people are watching this right now, they saw that I was just trying to come up with what I was going to say. And I think, so this goes beyond fingerboarding, any kind of content creating.
Okay.
If you are doing it for fun and you like to see, like, if you want to make a video that you're proud of, vlogging's great. But I think if you really want to, like, if you want to make money off of it, this is what you want to do for a living, I would say probably don't stick to vlogging. Because if you don't have the audience for that at first, you know, I don't know. If somebody is scrolling and they see this guy has 5 subscribers and it's a 30-minute video of what he did that day, and there's like no context around it, it's like,
Who cares?
who's going to watch it?
Yeah.
So, if you really want to make money, I think,
Or grow your platform.
or grow your platform. Short form would be great, something informative that somebody can learn from it. They get something out of it. That'd be great. But again, that's just my own opinion. So
I like that.
That's
And I agree with that in terms of starting up, just because like
sure.
long form content, even though it can be more enjoyable, it can definitely be, I mean, YouTube is an uphill battle.
Oh,
It
for
is
sure.
a grind for sure. And like,
You have to grind on YouTube. There's no other way.
and there's no other way. But like you said, there are moments on TikTok and Instagram where we kind of get these little boosts of
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, like followers or views and stuff, and that's like awesome. So I agree with that.
And if people think I'm a hypocrite, I do it for fun, not for money.
Oh yeah.
So
Wow.
Boom.
that's just my
Prove
opinion.
it. Send me all the money you're making.
What about you, Chris? What do you touch on that?
I don't know. I think that I would say to start creating the content that you enjoy consuming. You know, if you really enjoy consuming short form, then make short form content. Because I've always said the best thing to do is if you want to get started in content creating, and say that like one of Jake's videos pops up or one of Amethyst's videos pops up, like and you watch the whole video. Watch it again and like ask yourself, why did I watch this entire video? Like what made me, like, was it the messaging? Was it the music? Was it like, and then start applying that to your own videos.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people, when they get started, they don't realize how important like audio is, or like a little bit of production, like lighting and stuff like that. And just adding like a light to your desk, or, you know, trying to work on the audio and not sound like you're this far from the phone. It's like, it makes a huge difference. Or instead of like, when you're doing a voiceover, obviously everyone has their own style, right? But if you're talking like this and you're like, hey guys,
That's
is
what
my
I do
new
sometimes.
it's like, you know, who's going to stop and watch that? It's like, and you don't, on the other hand though, you don't need to be like some of my earlier videos where you're like, hey guys, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, and so, you know, it's about finding that balance that's going to keep someone, you know, on your video to watch it and get the information that you're trying to provide. So
If you have the audience and like, you know, the fan base, like for example, I first started watching your short form content.
yeah.
And then I went to your vlogs and I'm like, I'm a fan of this guy and I like to see what he does throughout the day.
Okay.
So just my opinion, if you have like that platform where you have the followers and you want to show people behind the scenes, vlog, because I love vlogs.
Yeah.
But if you're just starting up, that's what I meant about vlogs.
I like that. For another thing that kind of like a hurdle that people kind of make, like a mental hurdle to where they don't even start, is a lot of people assume that you need like really fancy recording gear, really fancy editing gear.
We all went,
Yeah, we're like, no.
No.
And I honestly, I see it. Like people DM me and be like, oh, I'm saving up money for a camera so I can vlog. And it's like, dude, like you have a cell phone. Every single vlog I've ever posted has been shot on my phone and edited on my phone.
Wow.
Go
Yeah.
back to my first video. It's an iPhone because I was inspired by Chris. I'm like, I don't need to buy a
Really?
camera. Yes. My first video was a slush cold event on YouTube. Well, like vlogging wise. And it was an iPhone because I was like, I see Chris using a phone, Amethyst using a phone. I'm gonna use my phone.
The only reason I bought a camera for vlogging is because I don't like to, like, when I make my videos, it's usually quick. Like I'm just adding the clips.
Yeah.
I go in and I cut it. So I tried vlogging with my phone, and I had to go in and like some of the clips were, you know, horizontal, some were vertical, and I didn't like going through it. And it also, for me, I think it's better to just get into like, oh, this is my TikTok, Instagram, like on my phone, right? And then the camcorder is for, you know, the vlog. So it's good to have that separation for myself, but you can totally do it on the phone.
I love that.
100%. Yeah.
Let's transition over to actual posting. So now we've talked about creating the content. Let's talk about actually posting the content. We have a couple questions here left. So a couple questions. This is like a multiple question. So does time matter, the time of day? And this is all personal opinion, right? Because obviously no one here knows the algorithm perfectly. But in your mind, does time matter? Do hashtags matter? Do trending audios matter? And I think we talked about this one with the questions call to action, but some tips on increasing your post engagement. So again, does time matter, hashtags, or trending audio? Do any of you pay attention to those when you're posting?
Yeah.
I do a lot.
I pay attention to all three, and I think all three are potentially important for sure.
Talk to me about time. What are we thinking? Early morning, late night, afternoon?
So time is actually something that's going to be different for everyone. Now, if you don't have any following, it's kind of harder to tell. And I would just say experiment, right? So like, honestly, as early as you can in the morning, try that first and do that a couple times. Then try doing it as late as you can at night, right? And then try doing it at noon. But for someone, if you already have like maybe 100 followers, 200, 1,000 or more, you can just go into your TikTok and you can go to your followers and it shows you when your users are most active.
Yeah,
And so
right.
what you want to do is
Gotta look at the analytics, baby.
right, and wherever the peak is, so my peak is like 2 p.m.
Yeah.
Right? Pick like 2 hours before that because you don't want to post at 2 p.m. and then all of a sudden the rest of the day is the downtrend.
Yeah.
You want to post like 2 hours before you hit the peak, so that way
So you
around
get that uptrend.
Yeah, you want that uptrend.
Love it.
So I do think time of day is important, but it's a process of trying to master that, and it won't always matter. It just sometimes matters.
I love it. So what about hashtags, Manny? Do you pay attention to hashtags?
I don't. Well, I mean, I do the common like hashtag fingerboard, hashtag tech deck. I haven't noticed that it does that much of a difference. I definitely think time is the biggest for me. I like to think like, who's the audience? And for fingerboarding, it's 80% children and teenagers, right? Yeah. So I think like, oh, they're getting out of school right now. I'm going to post it so that they get that. Like they're out of school, they're on their phone. I started making content like during the school year, the typical school year. But then, we went into summertime and I was like, okay, these kids are at home. They're waking up now, so I got to post it so they have something to look at right when they wake up. So you really have to think about those types of things. And I wouldn't worry about the hashtags because I don't think it's made a difference for me. But I think they do have like newer tools like Creator, Search Insight, and all those things that I think are made for that. And I think they focus more on that now than the hashtags. I think we're shifting away from hashtags to more of the stuff the app provides for you to use.
Okay.
Well, and not to disagree fully, because I do agree with everything you said. But I will say I think hashtags are really important for a couple reasons. For one, especially when you get into like higher views, right? Like that is objectively how people search for your content, right?
Exactly.
So if I go, you go into Instagram and you search tech decks, the only way that Manny's content's going to come up under tech decks is if it knows that it's tech deck related, or you know what I mean, something like that. So first, when it comes to searching and stuff like that, SEO, it's really important. Also, pushing it to the right people, because right, if you're putting like, for example, if it's a fingerboard video and I have like hashtag crafts, hashtag Michael's craft store, hashtag like a bunch of unrelated stuff. I'm glad you said that. Guess who's going to see it? People who do crafts and people who go to Michael's craft store.
And those people are going to
and tell you to get a skateboard
and kill your watch time.
So if you want to end up on if you want to end up in front of the proper audience on both Reels and TikToks, and I would say Instagram as well. People don't think about it, but Instagram hashtags do matter a little bit. It matters when you want to get yourself in front of the correct audience, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure. Like so on most of my videos, it's always like fingerboard, fingerboarding, fingerboarder. I was gonna say TikTok. Tech deck. Yeah. And my most search, so my analytics for my YouTube, the most people that find my page do it by searching tech deck on YouTube. Absolutely. And it's always the number one. It's always tech deck, fingerboard, fingerboarding. Absolutely. Always. And so I would say, I think that using hashtags correctly are definitely helpful. Spamming like 30 hashtags is not the way to go, because then from what I think, the algorithm will pick it up as spam.
Yes.
I would say if you're going to use hashtags, be super direct. Like don't hashtag FYP because or good vibes. You know what I mean? Like that's just it's random. What do you think about trending audios, Jake? Are you a big fan of trending audios?
I have no idea.
No?
I will be so honest. So my dad's a content creator, and he has a very great following of followers. Sorry, guys. And I've watched him over the years just be like, trending sounds are great. They suck. I think it's like the algorithm's changing a lot because they do change it quite often. And I've watched it to where he's like hashtagging trending sounds to now he doesn't use any trending sounds. He doesn't hashtag anything. And sometimes the video will pop off and sometimes it won't. Or it does or it doesn't. But I think he always says, he's like, if it's genuinely like a good content, then I have no idea.
It'll be pushing.
I have no idea, honestly.
I've looked into that a lot, and I think I don't know because like you said, it's always changing. But I know sometimes it has to do with the originality. The originality of the audio itself. So like if you're doing something that you're not, like you said, we do voiceover and stuff. If it's not an original audio that you're making, then you might be better off pairing it with a viral sound. Yeah. Whereas if you're doing something like your dad's content, where it's very heavily like you're just listening to him, there's no need to hear a background sound or anything. So I think when your dad is carrying, if you have any content that you're carrying all of the attention, then maybe you don't need that, and maybe it can hinder you for sure. I always use viral sounds, but I have no idea if that is like an underlying factor for any viral videos or if it matters or not. But I always use viral sounds. Yeah,
I like that. I have noticed one thing for YouTube Shorts. If you go back and check my first 20 or 30 YouTube Shorts that I posted, I used their trending sounds, and a lot of it's like the same 3. And those videos did fantastic. And then I stopped using that. I am subscribed to some That sounded terrible.
Whoa.
I'm subscribed to this
Okay.
website where they give like 100,000 sound effects
Audio
and
files and stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I love
And
that.
and so I'll use their royalty-free music. And ever since I started doing that on YouTube Shorts, it's just like I haven't hit over 100K in a very long time.
That sounded so privileged of you right now.
Okay, stop.
I love it. No, I get it.
You're gonna have to cut out that part. Where I,
I
said
get
I'm
it.
subscribed to
I
a
get
video.
it.
That
I love
sounded
it.
horrible.
But I think you brought up a good point too, is that the trending audio, like amongst apps, is not the same. Like the top 3 YouTube songs, the top 3 TikTok songs, and the top 3 Instagram songs are not
Never
going to be
the
the same. Instagram doesn't even want to tell you for some reason. They're very weird about it. But if you look it up, you can find it. But yeah, like you know how you talked about like posting on multiple platforms.
Right.
Like maybe sometimes just doing it with no audio is better because then you can adjust the audio when you move it into other platforms.
Yeah,
I love it.
So I don't know.
I like
All right.
that. That'd be good.
We have about 5 or 6 questions left. All right. Let's get deep with this one. So I think it's fair to say that we've all, or maybe not Manny, because he's kind of new, or maybe you have, but let's talk about creator burnout, because I think that's like huge, right? Because the whole premise of what we do is consistency. If you don't post for a week, you might as well have not posted for a year in social media time. And it's so easy to quote unquote fall off, you know? Because if you're not posting content, somebody else is posting content, you know?
Yeah.
Talk to me about creator burnout, how that feels, what that looks like to you, and how you kind of combat that.
We're just looking at each other.
Yeah, I feel like I'll answer because I obviously haven't been posting on TikTok regularly for. I mean, I have a few videos here and there, but
Yeah.
many months now, which, like you said, feels like in TikTok terms, like years. It feels like such a long time. I think how everyone battles burnout and deals with burnout is different. For me, I just decided that I'm not going to do anything else that burns me out. So at the time, that just looked like not going out of my way to make short form content. And that's just kind of like what I've been doing for a little bit. And it's like I said earlier, it's because I don't want to lose that initial spark that Jake was talking about.
Yeah.
I felt like, I was letting other factors and like pressure and stuff like that get to me. And I was kind of not focusing on the fingerboarding itself. So I was just like, I'm going to move away from content creation a little bit. So like for me, it was just about protecting myself and just taking a break. And yeah, like that may be the thing that causes me to fall off the face of the planet. And my viewership may be forever changed for that reason. And for me personally, that's okay. Not for everyone, that's not like, they would rather
not an
sacrifice.
option.
But for me,
Yeah.
I'm much happier, prioritizing my mental health and my well-being over viewership and stuff. But I am happy and excited to get back into doing that stuff because it worked. After giving it some time, I now have this like increased motivation and kind of drive and like, creativity going to kind of get back into it. So it worked for me. Just taking a little break, as dumb as it sounds.
Yeah, I think taking a break is like the best way to do it, because even something as small as like burning on a series, right? Like we've talked about this, like a lot people comment all the time and ask for Dollar Tree builds. And realistically, I could go to the Dollar Tree and crank out like the shittiest build ever just for views and stuff like that, but I'm genuinely find myself in a place where like I'm so burnt out on them that I would, even though it's like doesn't make sense because they get a lot of views and stuff like that, like I've been so burnt out on them that it's like I really want to prioritize like quality content over quantity, because if I'm just pumping out bullshit, I find myself like really not into it. Like mentally it's hard to make the video.
Like,
And
why
then
would
it
you
just
wanna feel forced to do it?
and it just doesn't feel fun.
Right.
What about you, Jake?
I'll go through phases where I'm like only creating content and not fingerboarding at all.
Yeah.
I'll only pick up a fingerboard to film content.
Yeah.
Like if I need to get a clip on something I found from Ross or something,
Yeah.
that would be the only fingerboarding I've done like that week or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So if I find myself getting burnt out, which I did after Fast Fingers, because I was very depressed that I wasn't in Germany anymore because it was the best time of my life.
Yeah.
I didn't fingerboard because I was like, oh my gosh, I just want to be back there. Didn't want to record anything or edit. So instead of trying to battle that and trying to push through it and just edit anything, I would just fingerboard. I would just put on my computer, just watch a YouTube video, watch FB Chris, watch Nanny, Amethyst, and I would just fingerboard and not record any clips or anything. I would just kind of find that spark again and just like remember why I like it so much. And then that will, a day or two, a week even, will make me want to be like, okay, let's record something, because I I found the love of it again.
I love it.
I don't know. Did that make sense?
I love it.
I think that's an
Love it.
amazing strategy because like
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of what I've been on similarly too. Like just kind of picking up a fingerboard, but I'm just not going to film it, and I'm just going to enjoy fingerboarding for what it is. And it's made me feel that way too.
Yeah.
Put on your headphones and just fingerboard. Even if you land a sick trick, try not to film it.
Yeah. The other night I posted an edit in my story, and because I was sitting there and I just finished a video, and I was like, I don't remember the
heel blast?
last time that I fingerboarded just to fingerboard. You know what I mean? Usually it's like I pick up my fingerboard, come about to do a video, and like that's like such a shitty feeling.
Yeah.
Then you kind of realize like, holy crap, like that's not what I want. You know?
I know.
But Manny, let me ask you a question. Why do you think fingerboard content creators get so much hate, and how do you deal with that hate?
Oof. Okay. Well, the general public's always going to see it as a toy, like we kind of touched on earlier.
Yeah.
And I've, even with my 4 months in this, like I get hate comments like every day. And it's funny, I've kind of recently, I noticed that a lot of fingerboarders do not address the hate. Like they'll just ignore it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try a different approach. I'm going to go full goblin mode, and I'm going to give them the same energy back.
Is demon mode?
Yeah, straight up. And
Love that.
and what I've noticed is that it makes the haters like think like, yo, I was literally just hating on this guy for nothing. And it's
just
already
enjoying
happened.
himself.
It's already happened twice where they follow me back or they apologize. And it's so funny to me because I'm just like, see, like you really just have to like, you have to hold a mirror to someone and be like, look, you're being mean for no reason. And it makes them think. And I've noticed, just if you're going to be posting a fingerboard, you got to get ready for can you actually skateboard? Or bro, you're like pushing 30. Like, why are you fingerboarding? Like, and we're all here doing it for fun, and some of us take it a lot more serious than others, but you're supposed to have fun doing this, and people are gonna hate on that no matter what. And I like to ignore it and just think like, hey, like it is funny what I'm doing, but I'm having a good time, and that's all that matters. I'm just gonna ignore the hate, or I'm gonna just go goblin mode and give them the same
love
energy.
that.
Yeah,
that.
it's
Goblin
funny.
mode.
People fold quick when you go. You guys should try it. Go goblin mode, but don't say anything too crazy.
I'm not tough enough.
How do
People
you?
don't fold quick.
All of a sudden-
Not on my page.
What about you, Amethyst?
What was the question again?
So
The
when it
specific,
comes,
'cause I agree with
why?
all of it.
Yeah. So why do you think fingerboards get so much hate?
Oh, okay.
And because I know that we've talked
Yeah.
about it, you've received a fair share of like hate online. How do you deal with that?
You kind of, this is not probably a good answer, but if you're not willing to or prepared to deal with the inevitable eventuality that you're going to get hate online for something, then you just shouldn't put yourself out there.
Yeah.
But speaking to other people, I'm a very rejection sensitive person. I would consider myself that. I feel like it's been very good for me to kind of to put myself out there and kind of just accept the fact that, yeah, like this didn't do well, or hey, I have 30 people telling me whatever, like what, like, just stupid stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
feel
yeah, you kind of just, you get to a point where you realize like this is the internet. This person would not stand on business if they were right in front of you and they wouldn't say it to your face, right? And honestly, they'd be like, "Oh, cool kickflip."
Yeah.
So I just think it goes back to the fact that like they're hiding behind the internet. You go to their page, they don't have a single post up, right? So it's just like, just get over it. They are clearly just trolling. Like that's all it is. That's just an internet troll, and that's just part of the internet, unfortunately. It sucks.
Sure.
But yeah, just you can't pay them any attention.
love
Just
it.
block. The block button is awesome.
Oh, I love it.
Block.
Believe me,
Block, block.
I have no problem blocking anyone.
Yeah, it's super simple.
What about you, Jake?
No, I want to hear you. What?
No. I'm
do
gonna
you
be
deal
honest
with
with
it?
you. I'm very like. It sounds bad, and people even have criticized me for it before. But honestly, I have no like. I really don't put up with any of that. Like, if people say like stupid comments and stuff like that, or not even stupid comments, but just think that they're funny and they want to make. Honestly, they will get blocked so fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My block list is a mile long because I don't have time for it. I don't want to
Yeah.
log in online and be stressed out because, you know what I mean. Someone just like is just being a jerk. Yeah. I just rather just block them, not reply, because to me it's like when I start replying, then it's like I'm sitting there 5 minutes later, like, why the fuck did I reply?
Yeah.
You know, that's just not me. That's not in my character to fight with people and
for
then go back
sure.
and forth.
Yeah.
It's
So
so much
honestly,
energy to spend on it.
I'm telling you, I'll block motherfuckers quick.
Especially when it starts to build up, because like you said, like it's every once in a while,
Yeah.
you can tell if someone's operating in good faith, and maybe you can have
for
a
sure.
conversation with them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people who really are there just to troll you, and you could go back and forth with them for days, and they
will.
just don't care. They're just there to see you angry.
There's nothing
Like,
wrong with having productive conversations, right?
yeah.
But a lot of times, if someone's just going crazy on you, it's like it's not even worth it. It's not even that deep, not even that serious.
Not that deep.
I like that. I like that. Here's the final question here. Did you have something to say about hate check?
Hate comment, good comment. You just helped my video get pushed out into the
I
algorithm.
love that you said that.
My favorite.
Bro, I love that he said that because it's
real.
like so many times people be like, why does this like weak fingerboarding show up on my For You page? I'm like, dog, because you interacted with it, homie. Pushing the videos.
My
had-
most common response to that, it's on all my videos. Anytime I get any kind of weird hate comment, all I respond to is "Thank you for boosting my engagement."
Yeah.
That's always my response.
I
That's my
love
main
it,
response.
bro.
Thanks for
Yeah.
boosting my engagement.
I love
Appreciate
it. Okay. Last question here before we take some questions from the internet. Should be wrapped up pretty soon. A lot of people want to create fingerboard content, but don't start because they are so like afraid of like judgment from their peers in the fingerboard community. I've talked about it before. It's like that cool guy energy, too cool to have a personality, too cool to joke. And so what would you say to someone who wants to start, but they're just not wanting to receive essentially like hazing or whatever from their peers in the fingerboard community?
I think it's just something you have to mentally prepare for.
Yeah.
Because it's going to happen. I get it on a weekly basis. I've even gotten it in person too. And I'm just like, oh, okay. And I think about it all day, but I'm like, you know what? I do this because I enjoy it, not because, you know, I don't know. I just enjoy it. So just keep that.
To me, I imagine it being the same people who are like, "Oh, why does Jake get so many views on his videos just because he's doing this, this, and that?" And it's just like, yeah, I don't know, like, you're not doing anything, like, you know, like, I don't know, like, what, I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like-
I love it.
What about you? He's like, I'm actually not going to do it.
No, I mean, so I'm curious what Manny has to say.
Okay.
Well,
So he's looking over there like, I have an answer for this.
Yeah, he's got to go goblin mode right now.
kinda, but you know, any sort of space you enter, there's gonna be people who have like more seniority over you or whatever, and they're gonna have egos, and it comes up like right away. And I've already noticed like there's people that try to little bro me all the time around, and I just ignore it. Like it kind of goes back to what I said before. Like, bro, we're just fingerboarding. Everyone's here to have fun. It's not that serious for a lot of people. So that's my thing. Like, just ignore it and then do what makes you happy. I don't even want to get touch into some beef that I have, but it's crazy. People will get inflated egos, and no matter what you do, and you just have to ignore it and be true to yourself and don't lose your morals along the way, and you're gonna get far. Like, for real, just have fun.
Yeah. My biggest thing is I would just say just kind of learn to embrace it. You know, like I've gotten what did I get called? Got called the Blippy of fingerboarding. And I just totally embraced it. There has to be, you know what I mean? Just look at skateboarding, right? Look at companies like Braille and Revive.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace.
Oh,
But
gosh.
you know, they at the time, maybe not now,
Right.
but at one point they're responsible for bringing in hundreds, if not thousands, of new skateboarders.
Yeah.
So if that's where my content is going to be placed, that's cool.
Yeah.
Because all these companies that think it's cringy and stuff like that, it's like all the kids that watch my content that we bring in with our cringy content, they grow up to buy your boards.
Yep.
So it's like you're welcome.
You never know who
So.
the next Mike Schneider is going to be.
Well, maybe we're sitting with him
I
right
was
now.
gonna say-
JCFB.
That goes with what
Manny
you touched on,
GFB.
though, like the cool guy syndrome.
Yeah.
If you have cool guy syndrome, you're not going to survive in like
You're
content
not.
creation, because it's just like yeah, sometimes you just got to be a silly little guy, like
Yeah.
you know, like
And here's like the cool guy syndrome.
Yeah.
Look what you're doing.
It's a
Yeah.
Playing with a toy. I'm just kidding.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm just kidding.
You know, sometimes you just got to help your luggage in the vlog.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Someone's got to do it.
All right.
I'm just going to say that.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to move on to questions from the internet. This is all speed round because we're going to wrap it up in a minute.
Okay.
We're going to ask just random questions, and we're going to give short but sweet answers. And the first question, I'm actually going to hand off to Dylan, who's in the back. First question here says, when are we going to get Thick Boy 3?
Very soon. Very, very soon.
Very soon.
I love. Wait, I love how you got real deep and just very soon.
Very soon.
Shout out, dude.
I love that. All right. No way.
Pause.
Did anyone else
Pause,
just hear
pause,
my
pause,
voice
pause,
drop
pause.
like that?
No.
I pulled out the deep voice.
Oh yeah. All right. And then a question for Jake:
Oh, that's me.
why Diet Coke and not Diet Baja Blast?
They have a Diet Baja Blast.
They do. It's so good.
Wow.
So good.
Dylan goes. I don't know. I've never tried it. Maybe we should pick up something for the road. But
Maybe.
little Diet Baja Blast. Sorry,
There you
I'm really
go.
hungry.
Let's see. A couple more questions here for you. Let's see. We touched on a lot of these. Manny, random question here. Someone wants to know: would you support an animated YouTube series that involves a bit of fingerboarding?
Yeah, I mean, I love a good animation. Are you gonna like animate people's videos?
I have no idea.
That,
was
that
a
sounds
super
cool.
random
Let's-
question.
yeah, do it. I'll
Let's
watch.
do it. Amethyst, how do you start a fingerboard park with obstacles you have laying around your house?
You do that. You go to Home Depot, grab your favorite piece of like 4x4 or whatever, and then like go to the Dollar Tree and grab some super glue, and then make a little plan beforehand, and then super glue all those random things that you found in your house and make a cool thing. I've done that many times.
I love it. We're gonna see how this works. We had 5 questions from the internet come in voice wise, right? Ready, guys? To hear this?
Ready.
Let's see if it works.
Hanging out.
Here we go. That sounded creepy.
What's up, influencers? So I was just wondering how you guys know when it's time to film with the homies or put away the camera and just enjoy the vibes and be in the moment, hanging out at the sesh or whatever.
I love that one. The way we're gonna do it is we
beautiful
can all give an answer, but we're gonna keep it quick.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be honest with you. This happened to me the other night. I had a couple people over. I didn't vlog any of it. We came over to film for a specific board that's dropping soon. Shout out Glow. We didn't film not one clip. We didn't vlog. We did nothing. And sometimes I'll admit it. Sometimes you don't know when to not vlog. You know, because in my mind, sometimes something happens. I'm like, fuck, I should have vlogged that. You know.
Yeah.
But honestly, I think it's healthy to have those nights. So I think if you are getting caught up in your content, definitely have those nights where you don't vlog, don't film, and just kind of hang out with the homies. What about you guys?
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. I do think if you are finding yourself in a very hardcore, content-driven mode, and that's just kind of where you're at, there are ways to do both, and it depends on your attention span. But like you can set up, like we've done, you can set up a tripod in the corner, and not necessarily focusing on making the content, but you can still be getting content while you're just enjoying yourself with your friends fingerboarding. So there, you can always set up a tripod somewhere and still get content. Right. Just enjoy yourself.
I love it.
I think you need to find the balance because there's been moments where the vibes are like really good, and then I take out the camera, and then suddenly everyone gets awkward.
Yeah.
So you just have to play it by ear.
Kind of got to know. Got to
Yeah.
read the room.
It'll definitely kill the vibe if you do it at the wrong time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually, if I'm vlogging, I usually just verbally ask permission. I'm just
Oh,
like,
for
hey,
sure.
like I'm gonna
Yeah.
vlog right now. Everyone cool with that? Because sometimes people will say no.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I respect
for
that,
sure.
of course.
Hey, you know how many times Dylan's been in the vlog, and I'll still sometimes be like, "Hey, like, I'm gonna vlog today."
vlog.
Or like Clay, will be like, "Hey, I'm gonna vlog," and it's just
Yeah.
So
I
there
like
you
that.
go.
Respect.
Next question. Here we go.
What is up, guys? Before I ask my question, I want to say I've got so much love for all of you guys out west. You guys truly show the world just what fingerboarding is here in America, and I absolutely love that. That being said, my question for you guys is, how do you stay up with relevant content when it comes to our community? How do you come up with your ideas? How do you brainstorm? Like, how do you get into that mindset? Whether it's Chris and his Dollar Tree builds, or it's the 60-second edit, or it's sky's the limit. How do you guys stay up on top of that? And
Cut off there, Jake.
Love that.
Answer this one, being that we answered the other ones. Okay. So how do you do? And we kind of touched on this in the interview already, but just how do you kind of stay inspired to make content?
How do I stay inspired?
Yeah.
Watching other people make content. It gets me hyped to make it. Not to copy or anything, which I do get influenced by people at the table here. But yeah, I don't know. Just watching other people. A lot of it is right off the fly, like super spontaneous. that I come up with that day. But yeah,
We stay inspired by fingerboarding. I love it. All right, next one. There's two more.
At fingerboarding as a
Sorry about that.
here's a question for
There we
you,
go.
unrelated to content, but how do you just get better at fingerboarding as a person who does not come from a skateboarding background? What's your tips, tricks, how to avoid burnout, learning new tricks? Send help. Peace.
I love that. I love that.
keep the fingerboard on you at all times.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
Keep it with you. You can be at the mall, sitting down. You're like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna try that kickflip I saw on the internet the other day, and you land it. You're like, what did I do? How did I land it that time? Was it the finger positioning? Did I, that's just my keep that thing on you. Not like that, but keep your fingerboard on you.
Heck yeah. No, yeah, that's the best way to do it. It's just honestly just practice, and that with practice comes consistency.
Yeah.
Learn the basics, I would say. Start with learning the basics. A lot of people nowadays, I feel like they rush it because the internet told them like nollie heels were the best trick ever.
Well, they are.
Oh my god!
I think
Totally
that-
kidding.
But you know what I mean? Like, there's people that can nollie heel that it just does not. Yeah, that can't consistently kickflip, and it's just mind blowing.
That is interesting.
That's definitely.
But I also, part of my answer was going to be like, because I know there's like arguments about how much skateboarding knowledge you should or shouldn't have to being a fingerboarder, but I don't think watching skateboarding is a bad, like I think it definitely, for some people, can definitely increase how fast you learn and how much you enjoy, and because it helps you put the connections together and piece the puzzles together. So like I think watching skateboarding itself is actually a really great way to understand, oh, why is it so cool that I'm doing a tray flip into a front nose slide?
Yeah.
And I'm like seeing that one on a real body, and then you're like, oh, this is why I'm recreating this. You know what I mean? I think a lot of the fun does come from that, even though you don't have to skateboard or know about skateboarding to fingerboard.
I love it. Here's the last question. You guys ready for this? This is a deep one. All right. So here we go.
Completely and honestly, what are the downsides to putting this much effort into social media, if there are any? Do you have any tips or advice on growing your brand without social media? Though I will continue to use it and stay true to myself and genuine in my content, too often do I find myself drained and complacent to the state of social media. The constant comparing I do in my head, people doing anything for likes, and the mass consumption of brain rot. Do you guys ever feel the negative effects of social media when creating? And if so, what do you guys do to combat it?
It's a deep question. Let me jump in real quick to start. So I think Amethyst said this earlier. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say there's not a way to grow your brand in 2024 without social media content, but it's definitely going to be an uphill battle. I don't think there's enough downsides to social media to where you shouldn't do it. I think every brand that wants to grow, don't get me wrong, you don't have to do like the crazy outrageous stuff. You don't need to vlog and you know what I mean? But even if you make decks, right, you can literally just film the process, quick voiceover, or just put music over it, and you start building that brand, you start building that relationship with your audience. Mm-hmm. Because in 2024, without social media content, like you're gonna just literally fall by the wayside because there's so many brands, there's so many content creators, and there's new ones every single day. So my answer would be, I don't think that there's a way to successfully grow your brand as big as you want it to, as quickly as you'd like it to, without social media.
Right.
What do you guys think?
You got to know when to put the phone down too, because like he said, like there's a lot of brain rot out there, and especially as fingerboarders, like we said, you get a lot of random hate, and I think like if it gets too much, like putting it down for a day, a week, a month, like it's so important for your mental health. Like, because if you feel like it becomes a hostile space for you, like it's not worth it. Like that's what I believe. So there's been times where like I decided like I'm not gonna look at my fingerboarding content today or my fingerboarding comments today because like half of them are just gonna be hate. So yeah, it's okay to take a break when you need it.
Oh heck yeah. It's encouraged.
And I feel like there's going into that, like there's things that you can control when it comes to avoiding burnout and like the things that are not so good about creating social media, and there's things that you can't control, and just control the things that you can control, right? You can't control the fact that people might leave hate comments or silly comments, but you can control your reaction to them, right? And so, you can't control the fact that like maybe you are getting burnt out by posting once every day for 14 days straight and it's burning you out, but you can control getting off your phone for 3 days and stuff like that. So I think, there are downsides and stuff like that, quote unquote, but how you can respond to them in ways that minimize the damage to yourself, for sure.
I love that. You have anything to add, Jake?
Kinda, yeah. So I'm gonna try and explain this as best as possible, but I have to remind myself that I'm not FB.Christopher. I'm not Amethyst. I'm not Manny. I'm not Chubby Muffin. And I think that I try and not copy or like, but I get influenced and I try and make my content like as good as yours or yours or yours. And
Healthy competition.
yeah,
Nothing
yeah,
wrong
yeah.
with that, yeah.
But I have to remember that I'm my own brand. You know, I do get influenced and whatever, but I just have to remind myself that like, I don't know, that I'm me, and there's no
Wow.
pressure to be somebody else.
Way to end on like an epic like Disney note.
I'm me.
I'm me. Find
I
you.
love that.
Oh, whatever.
I love that. Here's how we're gonna end it. Okay, I'm gonna do a lightning round of questions.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say 2 words. You just pick one. Okay. I'll answer the same ones at the end. So you gotta just don't think twice. I'm gonna say the 2 things and you just rattle them off.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna go like this: Amethyst, Manny, Jake, me. Quick. That quick. Are you guys ready?
Okay.
Ready.
Short form or long form?
Long form.
Short.
Long.
Long. TikTok or Instagram?
TikTok.
TikTok.
Instagram.
Instagram. Dollar Tree or 99-cent store?
Dollar Tree.
99-cent store.
99-cent store.
Dollar Tree. Plastic or urethane wheels?
Plastic.
Urethane.
Urethane.
Urethane. Skateboarding or fingerboarding?
Fingerboard. Fingerboarding.
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 Fingerboarding. Tech decks or slush cold ground boards?
Slush cold ground boards.
Let's go ground boards.
Grom.
Ground boards. FBS tape or that tape?
That tape.
FBS tape.
FBS tape.
That tape. Del Taco or Taco Bell?
Del Taco.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. And just like that, we have reached the end of our Bigspin podcast conversation about social media, content creating. It has been real. Jake, Manny, Amethyst, thank you all so much for
Absolutely. Thank
doing
you.
this with me. Yeah, this is super sick, super informative. Love you guys. Yo, and Slush, if you're watching this, Clay, I'm so sorry that it took so long and Dylan wasn't able to fully get back to work.
Yeah.
Shout out Slush God for allowing us to use his headquarters for this.
Thank you.
Definitely check out slushcold.com, Bigspin on all social media platforms. Quickly, Amethyst, where can people find you online?
You can find me at street.fuzz.fb on all platforms, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram.
Manny,
Manny GFB on everything.
Jake,
Jake PFB on everything.
FB.Christopher, and the Bigspin podcast on everything. Thanks so much. Yeah, it's been real.
Later.
Bye.